Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here at Target Trading Academy with today's Micros Market Recap. It is Thursday, June 22nd, just after the close in New York. Let's get right into it with oil. Oil opened gap down, and it did a gap and go, meaning they didn't really have any attempt to get back to that close, to get back into balance. Sellers held that market for the majority of the day. You can just see that clear trend down, that pressure. There were some retracements at those HVA edges that we expect to see. And with that said, moving on to gold. So gold opened inside of its range from yesterday, below the close. We had news at 8:30 that drove us up there. We didn't quite get to that close. Sellers stepped in and they just had a lot of selling pressure. They weren't really wanting to take it up higher and get to the close. We had support at that contract low. Took a little while to work itself out. Let's see here, 9 o'clock, 9:10. So a good 30 minutes of just trying to get back up there. Those buyers, they really put up a fight. They did come up and they had a little good bit of a bleed through at this HVA, and it looked like we might be getting a little rally for that round trip and overtake those prior highs. But big seller stepped in. You can see the size of these bars and just drove it back down, and they got stuffed. So we are closing that down on the day in oil, and down on the day in gold. As far as our equities go, we didn't open terribly far away from the close, but we did open below the range. It was an interesting open. It was sideways for a good 10 minutes or so, and well, just before 10 minutes, we got volatility just randomly entering in, and then it was coming down, and randomly entering in and coming down, and then they randomly enter in and come down. There was just a buyer here, plain and simple. They didn't want to take it any lower. And we see that throughout the day. They really were buying those lows up, and they just were not letting this thing come back to these lows here. They just were fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. So it was a fight today, the best of days, very little opportunities in terms of seeing how many edges we get to. Practically, we just stayed inside this one HVA, which is okay. That can happen, especially with, holiday coming up. We've got 4th of July coming up. A bunch of government officials are going on holiday until the end of August or something like that. So I expect it might be a little bit slow or get slower because of lack of participation. Just more and more people are starting to go on holiday, and that's normal. But it doesn't mean there aren't any opportunities. It just means you might have to be a little bit more patient on the setups. But we did get to the close from yesterday, and then we are finishing off the day here a little bit higher, so we are positive on the day. NASDAQ, very similar story. Blow that up here. We opened below that close. And unlike the ES, we didn't really go sideways. They just had straight buying. They were on a mission. They were on a tear. So once they got into the HVA, you can see that they used it as support 3 times, and they just kept climbing. They were ready to just keep going, and then getting up to this HVA edge, they couldn't sustain that momentum any longer. They were already fighting it here, and they had several opportunities for winners. And that fourth time, they finally made it through. So good sign that buyers and sellers are getting in the fight, and that sellers are starting to fight back and get some ground. And so we saw it here, and it was a big move back down, a big retracement back towards their point of control, that main body of volume. But ultimately, the buyers did win out of the day trend, and we did just keep climbing ever so slowly. You can see that we just kept putting up new levels, and we're stair-stepping much more in the NASDAQ than in the ES. So there's a lot more participation here in the micro NASDAQ than in the micro ES. And that's just because there's more people participating in it. More contracts are being traded. So we are finishing net positive in NASDAQ, ES, negative in gold and oil. If you're interested in learning more information about these levels and how you can get them onto your charts the night before, and if you're interested in learning about the methodology that goes along with them, feel free to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us on Facebook or go to our website at targettrading.co. Again, that is targettrading.co. Get in touch with the representative at either location. They'll gladly show you what we do in our rooms each and every day, and you'll be able to see for yourself why we are the #1 training education company in the world. Look forward to seeing you there.